Hello everyone, I have a quick question for you. Do you find yourself struggling to find important email attachments in a flood of emails? And do you often miss crucial email attachments among many others? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. Here, I'm going to show you how you can effortlessly import a pre-built Power Automate flow to save the email attachments received by a shared mailbox to a specific folder in a SharePoint document library. I have created this flow with efficient mailbox storage management and also a clever prevention mechanism for file overwriting issues. This is the overall view of the flow. Despite its elaborate appearance, the actions in this flow are straightforward and simple. Additionally, with just a few customizations, we will transform this flow to save email attachments from our personal mailbox to our OneDrive space. You will get to see that flow at the end of this video. Let's get straight towards how you can use this flow directly in your environment. You can find the pre-built exported packages of both the flows in the description below. Now, I'll show you how to import the flow into your environment. Start by downloading the zip file available in the description. Next, navigate to the My Flows window in Power Automate. Click on Import, then select Import Package Legacy. Upload the downloaded zip file here. You will find all the details and connection setup for the flow. Here, under related resources, you can see the connections that we are using in the flow, which are SharePoint and Office 365 Outlook. Ensure you have the necessary privileges to use these resources and then proceed by connecting your account. Now, click Import. Once completed, you will see the flow under the My Flows tab and the flow remains in the turned off state by default. Now, we will proceed to turn it on before running it. So, without any further delay, let's look at how the flow is built. The flow will get triggered when an email with an attachment arrives in a shared mailbox. You will focus on a specific shared mailbox address from your tenant, and for this example, I'm using shared mailbox 1 from my tenant. Ensure that you have the full access permission on the shared mailbox that you specify here. Next, if you want to free up mail storage space by removing the attachments from the mail after storing them in SharePoint, follow these actions. Otherwise, you can skip them and proceed directly to this action, Get File Content using Path. Here, to remove the attachments from the mail, we first need to locate the folder ID where the emails with attachments are stored. For this purpose, we used the action send an HTTP request from the Outlook connector. This action helps in interacting with external APIs like retrieving mailbox folder properties through the Graph API in Power Automate. Just replace this shared mailbox address with the address of your shared mailbox. Then I have selected the get method. By making these configurations, we can obtain all the properties of the specified folder, and we will save the folder's ID in this initialize variable action. Then we will use this send an HTTP request again to delete the attachments from the emails. However, it is essential to add this action only after saving the attachments. So we will keep this one for later. The next action we have used is get file content using path from the SharePoint connector. Here, you have to provide the site address. This action will specifically get a file from a SharePoint folder we select. We are using this action here to check if there already exists a file with same name as the attachment. This validation is performed in the path we specify where we want to save our attachments. If this action successfully retrieves a file, it indicates that there is already a file with the same name as the attachment in the specified path. As a result, the newly saved attachment will replace the existing one. While this prevents file duplication, it is also important to consider that files with identical names may have different content. In that case, to prevent file overwriting, we will save those attachments with a unique file name that includes the original file name appended with its received time. Instead of directly using the received time from the dynamic content, we chose to format it for easier interpretation. Here, we used the format datem function in the compose action to convert and display the time in a standardized date and time format. Then, We are using the create file action to save the attachment with its received time in the specified SharePoint document library. This ensures that the file is preserved without overwriting the existing file. Another case to consider is this action will fail when it can't get any file with same name as the attachment. Therefore, we will make this create file action to run when this get file content using path action fails by setting its configure run after like this. This action will save the attachments with its original name. Next, we have added this send an HTTP request action after each create file action to delete the attachments from the received emails once they are stored in SharePoint. We have set the method as delete, then just replace the shared mailbox address with the address of your shared mailbox in both these actions. And the provided values in this Graph API query will remove the attachments from the email. Before proceeding further, I would like to remind you again that if you prefer to keep the attachments, you can skip these three actions that delete the attachments. Instead, you shall proceed directly to the action get file content using path after the trigger. Finally, we have added this terminate action with the configure run after set to has failed to ensure a successful flow run status. That's it. Our flow is completely ready. For a more in-depth explanation of how to construct each step, you can refer to the blog post linked in the description. Now, let's save it and proceed to testing. For that, let's open Outlook and I'm going to send an email with some attachments to the shared mailbox address specified in the flow, which in my case is shared mailbox 1. Let's hit send and our flow will be automatically triggered and the attachments should be successfully saved in the designated SharePoint folder. Here in the specified SharePoint site folder, refresh to see the newly saved attachments. To further validate the flow, forward the same email after some time. You can notice that the attachments are once again saved, but this time including the received time. Moreover, if you check the original email received with attachments in the inbox of the shared mailbox, you will see that the attachment has been successfully removed after being saved in SharePoint. So, our flow is working perfectly just as we planned. Coming to the next flow that I mentioned earlier in the video, this one is created with a specific focus on saving email attachments from my personal mailbox to OneDrive. Here, you can see only a few customizations have been made compared to our previous flow. Firstly, for the trigger, you need to select when a new email arrives. Secondly, we will replace the SharePoint connector with OneDrive connector for the actions get file content using path and create file. By making these simple adjustments, you will be able to save your email attachments from your personal mailbox directly to your OneDrive space. I recommend you to run this flow and observe how it functions similar to our previous flow. And that wraps up the video. Feel free to replicate these flows in your own workspace. For an in-depth explanation and valuable tips, check out the blog post accessible via the link in the description. Also, you can connect with us through the links to all our social media channels available in the description to not miss out on any Microsoft 365 or automation insights. And if you have any questions or need clarification, don't even hesitate to drop a comment below. Thanks for watching.